is where all of my money goes. Every time a bill comes, I just hate owning a home because who needs to pay $250 for fucking electric?
Everybody dreams of owning a house, but what if I told you some people actually regret buying one? Today on Street Reaction, we're looking at real people explaining why buying their dream home turned into their biggest mistake.
I think I fully regret buying a house now. Like, it's not the worst choice I ever made, but it's so expensive. But at the same time, it's exactly what rent would be costing me anyways. I'm almost an hour away from where I want to be and almost an hour away from work. It's a lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance. I feel like the housing market could crash at any minute, and interest rates were high when I bought it, and so were prices. I rationalized it by telling myself, well, it's the same amount as rent and I should get something back out of it at the end of the day, which honestly at this point might not even be true. And I'm far away from everything and I have an hour-long commute and I'm tired and I'm in a 3-bedroom house and I live alone. I'm very thankful that I'm able to do this. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if it was the right choice and I'm stressing over it right now. And I've only been here for like 8 months. I don't know what to do.
Do not buy a house early on in your career. As young people, we constantly get fed information about how important it is to get on the property ladder as early as possible, but nobody stops to think if this is actually a good idea. This advice tends to lead people to rush into buying their first home. They'll sign up for a mortgage, dependent on the current income they're earning and the current job that they have, without realizing what that actually does for them long term. If you are young and you are working, chances are you're not going to be doing the same thing in 20 years' time. If something drastic happens, like, I don't know, you lose your job to AI or something like that, all of a sudden that liability is massive. You have no flexibility. If you're renting, however, you have that flexibility of, well, you can move somewhere else, you can move to a cheaper flat. The recent Renters' Right Act in the UK is massive for flexibility, absolutely massive. So before you buy your first house, I'd strongly encourage you to slow down and think about whether or not this is the best option for you. It's a lot of money to give up.
Hi, my name's Reed. I've been saving the past couple years to buy a home, and I have enough money for a down payment, but I think I've changed my mind. I've been doing a lot of research on buying homes, like what I would qualify for, what kind of loans and grants and things I would qualify for. I've been looking at the return on investment in the area that I'm particularly looking in buying, and it is pretty good, but I am not ready to take the responsibility of maintaining a home. I feel like growing up, I was always taught that buying a home is just like a part of life. But as I started to really research, I'm like, okay, well, if something goes wrong with the plumbing, that's on me. If something stops working, that's on me. Whereas right now I rent basically a small 2-bed, 2-bath home and everything's taken care of. As soon as something's gone wrong, fixed. I also live in Texas in a metropolitan area. The taxes here are crazy. Property tax is insane. Quite honestly, the only thing that is pushing me still towards buying a home is giving this little girl a yard.
Okay, I need to talk about this. Everyone online makes buying a house look like a dream. Keys, champagne, Instagram posts. But nobody talks about the maintenance nightmares that come after. This woman is literally breaking down why she regrets buying her house. And honestly, some of her points are valid. Let's watch this.
Hey sis, I heard you were thinking about buying a house. I'm here to tell you not to. Don't do it. Don't do it, bitch. Let me tell you exactly why. Last night, I'm in my laundry room, minding my business, doing my laundry, trying to be a housewife. I actually wasn't, because I wasn't even doing his laundry, I was doing mine. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. I'm walking on the ground, I'm like, why does it feel, I'm hearing this squish sound. This squish, it kept going, shh. I was like, it sounds like water's under the floor. When I moved into my condo, there was already this little hump in the wood on the floor by the AC unit that is in a closet. And I was just like, oh, the floors are where they are. I'm assuming because I bought my home fully renovated that it comes with the house. This is with the territory. This is what it is. The floor is a little wonky. That was in 2022. I go about my business as usual with my little warped floor. Charm. It's charming. It's charming to have a little bump in the floor, a little imperfection. in the home? No. Apparently, my AC unit has been sweating and collecting water that has leaked under the unit into the ground, into the floor. And I've noticed over the past month that that little hump has become a big hump, and that the floor has become a little more warped than usual. Listen, I'm just a girl. So yes, I can admit that I ignored things. If you know me by now, then you know that I have dealt with a lot of issues with my home since I moved in. I have a psychotic upstairs neighbor who has flooded my house now twice. 2 times in 3 months that I was first living here. First, he flooded my guest bathroom, then he flooded my primary bathroom, and I have had to spend thousands of dollars because insurance didn't cover it to fix water damage in my home twice now. So anything having to do with water in this home, I have very, very understandable PTSD. Like, I don't want to deal with any further issue from this home, period. Fast forward to last night, I'm walking on the floor and I hear squish squish, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I do a little lean to my left foot. Water coming out the side plank of the wood into my guest bathroom. So naturally, I'm unwell. I'm looking it up on ChatGPT. I'm sending ChatGPT pictures. I'm like, what does this mean? Is my house flooding? You know what? Listen, I know we're not supposed to use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT was saving me last night because I was clearly about to have a heart attack. I send the pictures of the wider image of where the water's coming from, what's going on. Chat is like, hey sis. Well, actually it said, sorry bestie, I think that this is an issue with your AC unit. Sorry you're dealing with this. I look at my AC unit, they're like, check for any kind of water. Is there any water dripping? There's water on the filter, which is also dirty as fuck because, newsflash, the filters for the AC units say that they are good for up to 3 months. If you are running your AC every day, I just learned this 5 seconds ago, you're supposed to be changing that filter once a month. Hello? Then the AC guy, so lovely, he came, checked my shit out, was like, yeah sis, these need monthly maintenance from you to change the filters out. You need maintenance like 4 times a year on your HVAC unit. How the fuck am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know that? Who was gonna tell me that? Then he's like, well, you know, like your filter in your dishwasher is supposed to change that. Who's supposed to change that? Who's supposed to change that? I said, what? He was like, I used to work on home appliances. Let me take a look. He takes a look. Clean as a whistle. Thank God. He was like, do you have a cleaning lady? I was like, yeah, I have a cleaning lady. He's like, the cleaning lady's probably been cleaning it for you. I said, thank God for Sandra. Because what? Then he showed me some flute system thing that comes out of the sink that puts the water into the sink that comes with the dishwasher. That's not my testimony. I am not meant for that. I'm meant for this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be checking filters. What? And like, I love my man down. That's also not what he's supposed to be doing. Who is supposed to be doing that? Who's supposed to be doing that? Maybe he is the one supposed to be doing that. But we don't do it. What? We've never done that before. We've never thought about, like, who is teaching y'all home maintenance things? Who is teaching you? And where do I hire them and how do I get them in my life ASAP? Because what the actual fuck? Then he was like, well, you know, also your fridge filter needs to be changed. Do you use the ice machine? Do you use the water? What? He was like, yeah, some filters have to be changed like every year. What are you talking about? He pops it open. Guess how often the filter needs to be changed? Oh wait. If your answer was every 6 months, Every 6 months. Ask me when the last time it was changed. Actually, don't fucking ask me. But ask me when was the last time I used ice. Yesterday. I am sick to my stomach, fam. This is the craziest shit, and this is the shit that comes with home ownership that they don't tell you about. They don't tell you about this shit. They think, oh, I have a home, I post with my keys, oh, look, champagne. Fuck all that. Get an apartment. 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 Live in that apartment 2-3 years, whatever. You got your super, you got your maintenance guy, they come by, they do the shit. Because now my floors definitely fucked. Definitely have to get ripped up. Definitely have to get replaced. My AC unit needs a full fixer. It's only 3 years old, but now there's water condensate, overflow, flooding, issue, bacteria buildup getting into the air in the house. What if I just dropped dead? Mind you, we're renovating the house in New Jersey. And so now I'm like, oh, yes, okay, the more you know, this is great. Now I have new information to take me into my next home ownership. My other thought is, bitch, you don't need to have no motherfucking house. What are you talking about? You can't even handle the one you got. How you gonna handle? Is there a housewifery course that you can take that teaches you these things? Because I feel like between the boomers and Gen X, there's some shit that y'all are not passing down. And I resent nepotism. Because how am I a nepo baby? I don't know nothing. Not even a real nepo baby. I'm like just a first gen kid with some shit. And so now I'm like, what the fuck? Because I don't even know any of this shit. Who's gonna teach me? My parents were so busy, happy to make sure that I had everything I needed. Bitch, you were supposed to be teaching me something about filters. Who's gonna teach me? Anyway, I told the HVAC guy he needs to start a TikTok series because the girls don't know what the fuck is going on. At least not me. If you do, hats off to you. Let me tell you who does know. The girls who be doing all that home ec shit with like the saws and shit that they go to Home Depot and they run, they know this shit. Me, just a little girly pop with a fun drink, I don't know anything. If you're watching this, you probably don't either. So check your filters, change them out, get maintenance, and I'm with you, sis. Don't buy a motherfucking house. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jermaine. I regret buying my house for a few reasons, but here's the main one: interest. Guys, I am convinced that I have the highest interest rate in the UK. I purchased my house in February 2024 when the interest rates in the UK were sky high. So I absolutely knew what I was getting myself into. However, when you're excited, you kind of forget about the reality of the situation, but it's fully kicking in right now. So let's look at what my interest rate looks like versus how much I'm actually paying against my house. So my mortgage costs around £1,244 every single month. Only £352 and a few pence of that goes against my actual mortgage amount itself, which they call a principal repayment. I'm not a mortgage advisor, I'm not a broker, so excuse me if the terminology is incorrect. £352 is how much I'm paying against my mortgage loan amount. The rest, which is around £890, is going straight to the bank, and that is interest. £890 in interest. Now, in February next month, which is when my next payment comes out, I would have paid £8,174 against my mortgage amount and £20,000 in interest. I'm tired. Like, I'm absolutely tired. I personally don't think there's anyone out there with a higher rate than me. If you have a higher mortgage rate than myself, then how are you coping? Like, what are your strategies? What are you doing?
Okay, this is the side of home ownership people don't talk about enough. Everyone celebrates getting the keys, but nobody explains how fast the costs can increase after you move in. This couple thought they were financially ready until inflation, utilities, levies, and hidden expenses started stacking up.
Guys, when we bought this house, I don't think we realized how much financial undertaking it would take. Okay, so in 2021, I think when our child was 6 months or so, we made the decision that we now want to move out of our 2-bedroom rental. We were staying in a very affluent area. It was nice. It was very convenient. It was central to everywhere we frequent. But the issue with the property is that it didn't have like a secure garden or like privacy, because the gardens weren't like sectioned off, so anybody could like look into your bedroom window, honestly. And also we shared the same property with a hotel, right? So anybody could really come in. We didn't really have that much of security issues. I mean, I think there was only one incident, but other than that, it was also like just becoming too small, because now these babies are crawling, she can do stuff, and you've got nannies, you've got people coming into the house and all that stuff, whatever. So then we decide, okay, fine, we want to move out of the space. And I don't know why our decision was to buy a house. Fine. We find the home that we now live in. We agree on a price, and yeah, things go on very smoothly. And our house was the last house, because I remember when we were viewing homes, where we bought our house, it was sold out. And then they contacted us like a week later, and they were like, hey, listen, there's someone's bond, whatever, that fell through. There's an opening, but first grab gets it, so come view and then decide. Firstly, we viewed the house on a screen because the house that they used to view was then sold. Okay, anyway, that's a story for another day. And I think because we really wanted to make this move and we're excited about this move, we didn't really consider a lot of things. So anyway, we buy the house off a plan, basically off a plan and off of what are those things called? Renders. Yeah, off renders. That's what we get our house off of. And because our house was the last one, or like it was a sale that fell through, we took whatever the person had decided on. So there were even things that we didn't realize that we could have added on into our home to make it more comfortable for us, whatever. So we got the house as it is, sharp. When we then decided to accept our bond, we were happy with the bond repayments we had then, right? We never considered that the bond repayments would obviously become way more, obviously also with inflation. So this is the first tip. Do not budget according to that. Like, do not. Already, the difference between our bond repayment and our rent at that point was 8,000 Rand. We were comfortable with that, and that's what we were prepared for because we needed the space and we really wanted to, we wanted to grow as people. Cool. Hi, then 9 months. Yeah, it took about like 9 months for us to finally get into the home, right? In that time, our bond repayment kept going up and up and up and up and up. We still felt comfortable, and yeah, then we moved in. Do you know what we did not consider? The fact that our electricity would be way more, not just a couple hundreds, like way more, right? And obviously, yes, we thought about levies and rates and taxes, but we didn't think about like things like deposits that you need to pay for those. So your ESCOM deposit, which is like crazy. We did not budget for that. And at that time, my husband had just started his new job, and I was still an intern, but I think I was getting less than other interns because they had paid me my full pay when I was pregnant, so I had to pay that back. Cool. So then anyway, we've now moved in. Now electricity is showing us flames because we moved in winter. Then what we also didn't consider is that the fee for your help, so your nanny, is going to go up because now it's transport. You've moved, right? Because we have a stay out. And then also, because now the house is bigger, you have to get extra help and you need to pay for that extra help, whether you've budgeted or not. Because we couldn't expect our nanny to clean do everything, and then also take care of a child that is so busy. Right? Shut. Guys, another thing that we do not consider is that our bond would go up with inflation. So from the time that we signed our agreement to now, our bond has gone up by 9,000. Okay, so that puts us, so you add 9,000 and 8,000, that's 17,000 if I'm not mistaken. That's 17,000 difference to where we come from with the rental, and that's like purely the truth. So we were at a certain point, we've now added 17,000, and that's just with bond, right? Then now you have to factor in your water and lights. You factor in your levies. And now if you live in a sectional title, you have things called special levies. Yo, my way. Guys, honestly, I was having a conversation with my husband and I was like, I really wish we did more research. I wish we spoke to more people, because renting for the amount that we pay for, we could have gotten a way better house. And also, if we rented for that amount, at least like levies and stuff don't fall on us. I'm thankful for the house. I'm grateful that God has definitely provided for us, because now my husband has been promoted in his job. He's the MD where he is, and I am financially more stable because I have content creation gigs, and because I'm now a medical officer, I get paid more than what I was as an intern. But honestly, when I look at the amount of money that leaves our accounts, I'm just like, sometimes I miss that too, bedroom. Honestly, I would have been so rich if I stayed in a flat. Like, so rich. But anyway, so if you are someone that is looking to get into a home, I don't want to discourage you. I just want to ask you to please do as much research as you can. Speak if you have a friend where that lives in the place that you're looking to move into. Please have an honest conversation with them and start budgeting, looking at that, because we really budgeted with in a very short-sighted way. It is our mistake, it's nobody else's, but I guess we live and we learn. We were very lucky that things really advanced for us in terms of our careers, and we were able to do what we can do. But if we still had the same salaries that we had at that point when we decided to move, we would have been like absolutely screwed. Yeah, that's it.
I became a homeowner at 22 years old, and I instantly regretted that shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you why I regretted it, though. So, I ended up putting 78,000 down on my house, right? And once you get your house, right, you become house poor, okay? Now, everybody's not gonna be house poor. I was house poor. I'm just speaking from my experience, bro. I'm young as shit, buying a house. I'm house poor at this point. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I did not really gauge all the maintenance that it took to take care of a house. On top of that, I had to put work into the house. They sold us the house, right? Sold the house with mold in it. How did I not know it was mold in it? Did you not get an inspector? Yeah, I had an inspector. This is what these dirty, nasty, gritty people did. Scantless, right? They painted over the mold so thick that the detectors couldn't get it. And it didn't even smell like mold down there, nothing. It was all dry, right? So I had to go in, get the walls chopped out, get the house waterproof, whatever that came up to. So this is just more stuff you got to come out of. But all in all, I would say that I really regretted it once I figured out how much the maintenance was, bro. And like how often you got to do certain things. And obviously it makes it a little sweeter that it's your shit and it's an investment. But for me personally, I just was not ready for that. Now the house is about to sell. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with the cash that I do get from the house. Obviously, I might invest in another property. I think that's where my head's at. But just something to like rent out or something. You know what I'm saying? Not to live in. I can't do it. I'd rather live in an apartment. I'm going to be honest. You can call me crazy all you want. But I just feel like at this point in my life, I should be living in an apartment, bro. A house is a lot. It's a lot.
My biggest financial regret that I've ever had in life was purchasing a home back in 2021 for these 3 reasons. Number 1, I had to put a 30% down payment on my home. My down payment was roughly around $330,000. I bought my 2-bedroom, 3-bath townhome for $910,000. And the reason why we had to put so much down at the time was just because of my income. I was only making around, I think, $100,000 to $110,000. That was the only way we could get the math work. Now, my monthly mortgage payment, if you factor in interest, taxes, HOA, etc., it's roughly around $4,200. If I was renting right now, I could probably rent a really nice 2-bedroom condo or an apartment for $3,500. So that would save me $700 a month. However, had I just not bought a home, I could have taken that $300,000 and $10,000, $20,000 that I used as a down payment and just invested in the stock market. We all know the stock market bottomed in 2022 and, fuck man, you see where it is today, right? I could easily have an extra, at the very minimum, couple $100,000 in my stock portfolio. Number 2, in the market that I live in, renting is actually cheaper than buying a home. Again, as I previously stated, I probably am paying an extra, $700 to $1,000 more per month by owning a home rather than renting one. And then number 3, owning a home is just really, really overrated. There's maintenance that you have to worry about. I've already had to replace an AC and my home is like 3 to 4 years old. So it's actually really, really new. I'm sure at some point I'm gonna have to replace a dishwasher, a washer and dryer. Owning a home is not cheap. There are a lot of expenses that come with maintaining a home, and you have to do it yourself. If I lived in an apartment complex, I could call the landlord and then they would send somebody to help me fix the problem. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would just rent a nicer apartment or a condo, whatever, in a nicer community, and then just invested my money instead in the stock market. But again, everybody's different. Everybody has different ways to invest and build wealth. Real estate is not one avenue of building wealth that I really like. All right, guys, hope you guys like this video. Make sure you guys follow and like for more.